Hey everyone, I'm back with a tutorial for this Spider-Woman look made of footage from my live stream on Twitch. Here I'm wearing a wish wig, which I really love. It has lace front. I already did my foundation and then I'm going over it with Conceal and Define foundation by Makeup Revolution. Then I'm using my Catrice Liquid Camouflage High Coverage Concealer in the shade 007. And I am using my Pro HD Powder Contour by Makeup Revolution to give more dimension to the face, focusing on the cheeks and the forehead because I really want some parts to jump out of it because they're lighter. I'm also contouring my nose, and then I'm going in with the same powder contour palette, the lightest pinky shade, to highlight my face even more. This is also going to help with any fallout from eyeshadow. My stream is starting to lag a little bit here, but I'm doing my eyebrows in a lighter brown shade. Then I'm going over it with a light powder to make them a little more ashy. And now I'm using the P. Louise makeup base in Rumor 01 to prep my eyes. And I'm doing a little bit of nose contour in between. Then I'm using an Inglot liner in black and just smudging it all over my eyes and blending that out basically in the shape that I like. And I'm going over that with the Alien palette by Jeffree Star. The first shade I use is Black Hole, and I'm just using that to deepen the shade and to make it matte. I'm also bringing that shade underneath the eye with a detailed brush. Next I'm using the shade Tall Gray to blend out the edges. This is a lighter gray shade. Now I'm using the shade Probe. Sorry for the lag. My computer is so bad with live streaming lately, but I'm just using the shade Probe, which is a beautiful duochrome on the moving eyelid. We're just blending everything out again with a fluffy brush. Before I put the shade Pluto on my inner corner. Then I'm taking an LA Cosmetics gel eyeliner in black and putting that on the waterline. Before I do everything I just did except for the Probe shade and the inner corner highlight on the other side. I am blending everything out far more crazier than on the other side because I really want this to stand out and be very dark underneath the spider legs. Then I'm using my Pixie palette, the Dolce Candy one, and I'm using the Estrella shade, I believe. And then I'm using my Wet n Wild unicorn highlighter and using the blue shades. Now first I'm going to map out where the legs should come from, the spider that comes out of my eye, before I go over it with the black paint. I believe I'm using Ghost OG to do that. This is easier for me because then I can still adapt like little parts that I want, and it's just easy to have a guideline like that you can easily fix, because the paint is just harder to fix if you make any mistake. So now I'm painting the legs over where I put the eyeshadow, and I'm making sure I go from a thicker leg to a pointy leg so that it looks more like real spider legs. And I also make the joints a little bit thicker where the different parts of the spider leg come together. This also gives like a more realistic look to it. Then I'm using a white paint to give highlights to the legs, so I'm focusing on where the legs would jump out a little bit, be a little bit more big or fat or rounded, where they would like catch the light a little bit, and I'm imagining the light coming more from above and straight on. Now I'm using, I think, the shade X-Files from the Alien palette to give some shadows to the legs. And they don't have to be as crooked because the shadows are on your face. They are not as pointy, more rounded. And I'm just imagining how the light would fall on my face coming from the front and a little bit above. And I went over that with Phone Home a little bit to give it more of a flesh color. Then I picked up my Alien palette again to go over Pluto in the inner corner with Abduction. After I put in these black mini sclera lenses, I use my black eyeliner to give myself a beautiful lip shape. And then I'm using the Jeffree Star lippy I have in my Nudes Volume 1, which is called Posh Spice, and I blend it out with my fingers. Now I'm doing the same process I did for my eye, for the mouth corners, mapping out the legs in eyeshadow and then going over it with the paint. So yeah, here I'm giving hairs to my mouth corners. As well as on the legs where the little joints are, because I think it makes it look more creepy. Like, hairy spiders are so much more creepy than non-hairy spiders, right? And here I'm adding some little spiders to my chest area. I'm only gonna show 2 of those, but I did multiple ones where you can see skin. Now I'm adding highlight to the legs coming from my mouth corner and a bit more highlights to the legs on my eye. I then decided I wanted to make my eyebrows wider, so that's what you're seeing here. Suddenly I had the idea to start a spider web on my forehead because that side just felt a little bit empty, but I didn't want to do it in black. So I started with white paint and I didn't want to do too thick of lines. Some should be more thick than others. I just think that looks better than when everything is like perfectly the same. And I'm using the eyeshadow from before. I believed I used Gravity and a little bit of Phone Home to give some idea of shadow. Just brushing my hair now because it does get tangled of all that moving. It's a synthetic wig after all. Then these lashes, they are from Wish, I believe. They're pretty big and I just thought it would fit great for a spider look. So I just added some mascara on my bottom lashes and I pressed those together with a tweezer and I feel like it looks spidery. And finally I added some LA Cosmetics eyeliner again. So this is a finished look, you guys and girls, and however anyone identifies. This is the Spider Woman look. I really loved creating this. This is one of my favorite Halloween looks I've ever done. Let me know in the comments if you like to see more tutorials like this. Thank you so much for watching and I hope I'll catch you next time.